Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Cascadia, a new game that I played recently. It's not that new of a game. It's a 2021 game that I played for the first time in a 4-player session just a few days ago. And it's kind of an abstract game, but with a very nice nature theme on it. And in the game, you are constructing your own tableau of hex tiles, and you are putting tokens on those tiles. There are two mechanisms I want to highlight here. One of which I saw earlier this year in a game called Overlord by the folks that made Boss Monster. And that is the paired drafting system. I really like this as a drafting system in a game where on the table at any given time are 4 random hex tiles, and linked with both of those, with each of those hex tiles, is a random animal token. And so at any given time, you're going to have a pair like this, and you are choosing, on your turn, all you're doing is choosing one of those 4 pairs and adding the tile somewhere into your tableau of tiles and adding the animal somewhere on a tile that doesn't already have an animal on it. This pair drafting system is really nice. It adds a lot of variability in that, like, instead of like combining these 2 components into one, they are 2 separate things. And that just, I really like the variability that adds to the game. Along with this is the other mechanism that I think is really clever, which is kind of inherently in a game like this, there's an advantage to tiles that allow different types of animals on them. So for example, this tile allows either a hawk, a bear, or a fox on it. Only one token can actually go there, but it has, so only one token can go there, but it has more options available. And this is really key in this game because you're scoring in 2 different core ways. One is based on the size of your largest habitat. So if I connect a big grassland, I can get hopefully a lot of points at the end of the game. And there are also animal-specific points that you can get based on how the animals are organized, the animal tokens are organized in your tableau. And so having that flexibility on this tile, you put down the tile and then later on you figure out what's best for my configuration at this moment. Say it's the hawk, I put the hawk there, and that's great. So having that flexibility is awesome. But that means that inherently a tile that can only allow 1 animal seems weaker, right? However, what they did in this game, or the designer did, Randy Flynn, did something really clever with these tiles. They're called Keystone Tiles if they only allow 1 specific animal on these tiles. And that is when you put that animal on that tile, you get a little special token. I forget what they're actually called. They might be called Keystone tokens, but they're little special tokens. And what they do is during that selection process at the beginning of your turn where you choose a pairing of 2 tiles, instead of choosing a pair, you can choose any one of the hexes that are out there and any one of the tokens that are out there on the table. And so I really like this, that there's a reason to go after the flexibility of these tiles that can hold that have greater variability. They can't hold more tokens, but you can put different animals on them, or even the twosies, the ones that hold one of 2 different animals. Difference between that and the power of just getting a less flexible tile, but adding flexibility through that bonus of when you actually do place that specific animal on it, you get that bonus token. I really like this this balance of giving players a reason to go after the different tiles. And there are other reasons too, like you might want a specific landscape over a different landscape. And going after the animal puzzle, things like that. You have other decision points that you're making there, but inherently you might look at 2 of these tiles and think, okay, this one's strictly worse than this one, but that isn't the case based on the way that Randy Flynn designed this. Those are my 2 favorite mechanisms in Cascadia. I'd love to hear about other games that use this paired drafting system. I think that's great. And if you can think of any other game that you played recently where they had kind of similar components, where one might have just by default inherently been better than the other, but there was a nice balancing mechanism to make that supposedly weaker component equally viable when you're making a decision. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that in the comments below, or if you have a favorite mechanism, different mechanism in Cascadia that you'd like to discuss below, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Thanks.